Yo, what's up, Clipper Nation? Mykell Matthew here with your favorite show, Full Clip Clippers Unleashed, where me and my guy Beav, we are back with you to talk about what is going on with the Clippers. Has Ty Lue lost the team? Is PG going to get it together? And we're finally to the final guy. That do we believe that Mr. Blake Griffin should be the first jersey retired for this Clipper team? We got that and so much more here with Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. Thank you once again, Clipper Nation, for choosing us as a show that you get your Clipper content. Of course, I'm never alone. I got my guy with me, Beav.
What's the word? What's the word?
Hey, what's up, Beav? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling flustered. I haven't got a haircut in a few days. I feel like, this has been one of the most stressful boat rides by far.
Hey, it's looking rough, Clipper Nation. But we have a guest with us to my right, my guy, another LA journalist here in the building, representing Watts, California. My guy, Eric Lambkins. What's up, Lam?
Man, what's up, world?
Hey, so he's here to talk about Clippers because like me and Beav, he's at the games. He's there reporting. He's there interviewing these guys. So the Clippers are coming off of a close, controversial win.
Huge.
Where it looked tough for a while, but they were able to pull it out. Kawhi with some clutch baskets, clutch and one baskets late. So we're going to start with our guests. What was your thoughts on that performance with the Clippers picking up that victory on the road?
It shouldn't have been that close. I mean, the 76ers were without Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey had a solid game, but it should not have been that close, especially when you touting PG, Kawhi. You got James Harden, you got Norman Powell, who you think is the sixth man of the year, and you got Russ.
Yep.
Like, it shouldn't have been that close. It should have been a blowout game.
What's your thoughts, Beav? I know that, you were quite disappointed. I was looking at you on Twitter, the tweets that was coming out. So what's your thoughts on the performance you saw?
I just hope that, this performance here just puts a little seed in their mind of mental toughness and consistency. I don't say, coming in certain teams I look at that just just trash, that game shouldn't be close.
Yeah.
But when I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, that's one of those teams that can just put a thorn or just play spoiler alert for a lot of teams. And again, I keep telling folks, they have Nick Nurse, a championship coach. Yep. And then something that the 76ers do that other teams don't do that I know is that it irritates the big three, those double teams. They keep sending blitzes at them, which forces them to, either come off the ball, late in possessions, or, make ridiculous passes and stuff like that. And he not just blitz Kawhi, he does it to Norm. He does it to his foreign players to a different degree.
Right. He knows those guys.
He knows them. Yeah. And then it boils over to PG. So then you've seen, as the game went along, Kawhi was getting blitzed and all that stuff, so PG stepped up and took over and stuff like that. So you see how those players got to be aware of what's going on so they can make the right choices.
And it's crazy because it's the second game they struggled with Philly. The first one they took an L in L.A. They're able to pick up this victory. What is it about this team that things are looking so different from when they got on that 26, 28-5 run with this Clipper team? Because a game like that Philly game, they would have said, man, let's come in here, lock up, let's make some shots. What is it? Is it the defense? Are they not playing defense? Are they not just making shots? Or is it the big struggles? What do you think it is, Eric, on why this team is struggling like this?
I think they're just playing uninspired ball right now. I think, they have all the requisite pieces in order to flourish. They have bigs. They have three-point shooting. They have four tremendous superstars. Yep. They have all the requisite pieces they need in order to thrive. Right now, they just are playing uninspired ball. And personally, I'm looking at PG. Okay. PG, a lot of PG's body language in game is looking like he doesn't want to be there. He's playing uninspired ball. Same with James Harden. A lot of times when he's not able to cook the way that he wants to, it's just like, all right, if I can't do it my way, then forget it.
Yeah, and Coach talked about it one time. Somebody said, Paul, I think it was PG, they were like, what's the identity? And they were like, man, hey, I don't know if we got an identity. I don't know if it's Paul or James. But then Coach came out and said, our identity, we're soft. What's going on, B? Why are we hearing that this late in the season for a team with aspirations for a championship?
Because they are soft. If you look at the span of the games in which the Clippers are being soft, you got players walking around. You got players that get burnt on the first defensive stop. It's been a few times where Zubac has been frustrated because Zubac has been left on the island completely because once the first person in front of him gets burned, it leaves Zubac by himself in the paint. Or when he's contesting a shot, they're not gang rebounding, right? You just say gang rebound. I actually seen it last night against Philly, right? You seen PG going up to snatch rebounds. Mm-hmm. You seen Kawhi. And like I said, I don't know if, these players have a lot of mileage built up on them and, it got to a point where like, we could just, we did what we need to do. We could coast a little bit. Well, you can't coast because a lot of these young teams in the beginning of the season that was struggling has figured it out.
Yep.
You being a veteran team, even though you did front running, you forgot you an old horse in a new man's game, right? Against these new jockeys out here. Yeah. So even though you did front running, right, these young competitive teams is gonna catch up.
Yeah.
And Denver is not an old team, but Denver's a team that has already climbed the mountaintop. Right. So it's just like when the Lakers used to be back in the day. They already know how to win and slow it down and pick it back up. The Clippers have not won anything.
So I'm happy you mentioned that. So the guy who saved the day, Kawhi Leonard. Can Kawhi be the guy that saves the day for this team? Like, do you think if you remember last year, the playoffs against Phoenix, he gave you those 2 games where you like, yo,
he turned back the clock.
Yeah, he turned back the clock, and he looked like Toronto, Kawhi Leonard. San Antonio. Can he be the guy to save the day like he did against Philly?
Not night in and night out.
Okay.
I think Father Time is starting to catch up to Kawhi. I think, you're able to get that greatness in spurts. Kawhi is going down as a future first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah. Like, I am not taking anything away from him. I just think his body is starting to give out, far too often. Again, I'm looking at PG. If the Clippers are going to save their season, Paul George has to be the best player on the team night in and night out. And he's young enough, he's healthy enough, and he has the game in order to do it. The effort is just not there right now.
So we haven't mentioned at all Russ, who has returned. He gave them a great game, but they didn't win at home. But against Philly, he wasn't as great. Everybody was screaming out, Russ is the difference. Russ is the difference. Can he truly be that difference, Beav, to help push his team to where we expect them to be?
Well, I wouldn't say Russ is the difference. Russ is the difference when it comes to, the mentality, right? Mm-hmm. That dog mentality that Russ comes with night in and night out. Even when his hand is hurt, he say, you know what, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and do what I have to do. That's what the Clippers need. You always need one of those dog players. You don't have to be someone that's going to put up a tremendous amount of buckets or anything like that, but it's that voice that keeps ringing in your head. It's that type of person when they take the court, you say, man, he's running 110 miles per hour. I got to, right, to keep up with him. If he's pushing the pace, I got to push the pace. So that's what Russ brings to the Clippers. The Clippers themselves needs to bring that mentality because
they burn the boats.
I don't know about burning boats yet. We could talk about that because if we talk about burning different boats, it's going to be which boat was brought in at a certain time and which one I can get rid of.
Okay.
All right, because if you're looking at it, one boat, even though a boat it should be burned, but I went ahead and invested too much into this boat. Okay. So I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Okay. Hey, so man, we love it here. We got so much more to talk about though. Full clip, Clippers Unleashed, Mykell, Beav, Eric, up next. We're going to give what's our confidence in this team going forward and possibly winning the championship. We got that. We're going to talk about. We're going to look into the future, maybe some things this team has to do. Maybe a star player that they might have to let walk. We got that, so much more here with Full Clip, Clippers Unleashed.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Welcome back, Information, to Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. Mykell, my guy Beav, our special guest, LA journalist Eric Lambkins. And we got to talk about it. We left the break. Our confidence. What is our confidence? Where's our confidence meter? Out of 10, what is your confidence meter for this Los Angeles Clipper team bringing a championship to the new arena next season? Elam, we're going to start with you, man.
You know what? I'm coming with a lamb's chop hot take. I'm an 8.
Okay.
I'm an 8. Wow. I'm an 8. And the reason being is I believe in Ty Lue. Okay. I think he's a proven coach, a championship coach, you know, that's able to corral a ton of different personalities. I think he's the coach for the job. And I think as we, you know, are on the precipice of the playoffs, Ty Lue is going to get them boys playing right. And the Clippers going to be hot. They will be the hottest team entering into the playoffs. I think Ty Lue wants them to go on the road because they play better on the road. Okay. And any event that they do, they're going to win.
Ooh, that's a lamb chop for real. Beav, I'm very interested in this rating from you. So, Beav, what you got out of 10? Where's your confidence meter in your Los Angeles Clippers?
My confidence is at a 5.
Okay.
And the reason why my confidence is at a 5 is because I don't see their hearts on their sleeve just yet. I see a lot of players still searching, and there's nothing really to search for. And that goes back to Elam point, right? Playing on the road, that's when you search. Playing at home, I don't need to search because I'm in my home court, right? But playing this little spurt that they have, you know, due to, you know, March Madness being at Crypto.com, they can search. You're gonna have to fight these middle of the road teams that's gonna keep dogging you night in and night out. You punch them, they punch back. That's gonna really prove what you going to do in the playoffs. Because when a team punches you, are you going to fold?
Okay.
Come on. You know what I mean?
I like that. For me, man, I'm going to go 2. I'm going to go with a 2 out of 10. I lost all hope in this team. I just think that Paul George has 1 foot out. James Harden, we saw with Philly last year. You talked about it earlier. If he don't have it his way, that guy does not give you the same type of effort. And when things were going, he looks good. But when things get tough, he's not the guy to depend on. Kawhi is not going to be able to carry the load. The bigs are struggling. It looks like they can't find their way. And, you know, it's a lot of pressure on them. And then you got that other team in L.A. that's getting hot. So they're hearing about that, man. Y'all hear what the Lakers are doing, what the Timberwolves are doing, OKC, the Nuggets. I just think that the Clippers' confidence is so shot. These guys are, you know, other than a few of them, these guys are playing for themselves. And I think that you see the frustration from Ty Lue to where even in press conferences, he's like, ask James, ask PG. Well, and I just think that their confidence is too shot, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get
it. It sounds like to me like you don't realize that these are professional athletes that get paid for a living.
They don't realize that they are professional athletes. They're not coming out
not necessarily
taking care of business like they said. supposed to.
You got to remember, man. Under that shirt, you know what he bleeds, right? So you know how he comes every now and again.
Journalistic take.
Every now and again he comes with that biased little take. But my thing is, right, like he said, they're professionals. But at the same time, you can't really say it's a two, because you can say a team is getting hot, but if you're looking at the standings, right, another team that's not even in the playing as of right now, the Houston Rockets. Yeah. Last time the Houston Rockets lost, they lost to who? We clearly looking at the show as we speak. Yeah. So at any given night, it can be anybody's shot, and it has to boil down to matchups. But with the Clippers, like I said, what the Clippers have to understand was during that run with James Harden, they went 0-6. Then they took off winning games, right? During that time, they were front running. I said it, right? A lot of people, they lost their championships. No.
I was on that.
You can't put that championship bust until after All-Star. After All-Star is when teams really fine-tune. Because now I done went through half the season. I done seen the person either once already or I've seen them multiple times.
Yep.
Now, I know your tricks.
Yeah.
So now what are you going to do to stop me? Now it really turns into every single game leading to the end of the season. It turns into from checkers to chess.
But right now, they're not winning the chess game. Because you say after All-Star break, you're starting to see their struggles. Maybe teams figured them out. Maybe teams are like, this is how to guard them.
I'm going to tell you what needs to happen is Ty Lue and the Clippers need to read The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Okay.
All right. Sun Tzu said once you advance in the land, you cross a river, burn the boats, burn the bridges. That's what the Clippers need to do.
Okay.
And by that, you have a collective shared identity that we going all in and we moving forward.
Yeah.
Going backward is not an option. And that's what the Clippers need to do. They need to hash out whatever differences they have and say, look, we all on board for the same collective goals, same collective reason, and push forward.
But I don't know if people are reading books in strip clubs, and that's where James seems like he be at. I don't know if people are reading books while they're recording podcasts, because that's what Paul George is doing.
But it's on audiobook, man.
Yeah,
but we got to see. I just don't want to just throw dirt on players just yet. Yeah. Even though I do ride PG necessarily a little bit more aggressively due to the fact that
that's tough.
That's wild. That was wild. That was wild. But
no Diddy.
That was really wild. But I know what PG can do, right? Yeah. I know the standard that PG holds for not only for the Clippers but for the outside players as well, in which how they look up to PG. And I'm gonna do a wild take. This is gonna be Beav wildness, right?
Okay.
This road trip,
Beav
going wild. You know I love the strippers too. So this road trip is going to prove how the Clippers are going to finish the season.
Okay.
And even though we're going through little channel teams, the next team up is going to be the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
And that's a team that can definitely ruffle some feathers in the East.
Follows the truth.
And we're going to see if they ruffle the Clippers' feathers and see how the Clippers respond back. Every game that they go through this time, other than Charlotte, I'm not worried about that. It's going to be a response. It's going to be a call and respond. And even though people say we should have lost the Philadelphia 76ers game, that was definitely a call and response type of thing. PG took over. And when PG was on fire, what did Kawhi do? A lockup, rebound, help Zoo out. Mm-hmm. What James Harden do? Just bring the ball up. That's all we want you to do. Bring the ball up, set it up, and let these two, the two that was originally brought here to deliver us to the promised land, do their job.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Who on the Clippers would you say in that locker room, if need be, would be willing to yoke somebody up? You know, slap them up, hem them up, throw them into the locker.
To be honest, the only guy that I can think of is a guy that Beav isn't a fan of, and he hasn't played well. It's PJ Tucker. He's the only guy that would be like, yo,
hell no.
I'm trying to get a win. I would do that. And Russ.
Hell no.
Russ, but you need your top three guys to do that. And so far, Kawhi has come to play.
I would say hell no. You can't say PJ Tucker is that guy if his foot was already went out the door as soon as he got traded to the goddamn Clippers. It doesn't matter, playing time or not. Even when you get in the game, you don't prove you should be playing. Right. So his foot has already been out the door from the get-go. The only person I can say somebody up right now is going to be Russell, excuse my language, motherfucking Westbrook.
Okay.
And you want to know why? Because he said in his press conference, the word can't is not in my vocabulary.
So Clipper Nation, Clipper fans. Let us know what you guys think. Where are you rating this Clipper chances going forward? We got an 8, we got 5, we got 2. Y'all let me know who's right, who's wrong. You guys let us know, but we got more. We're going to talk about Blake Griffin possibly being the first jersey retired by the Clippers. And what makes PG so special? Why do people see him as an archetype? We got that coming up after the break.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Clipper Nation, thank you for staying with us, having so much fun like we always do here at Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. So it's time to talk about it. We talked about Chris Paul. We talked about DeAndre Jordan. We talked about even Elton Brand possibly being the first jersey retired for the Clippers. But now it's time to talk about the guy that was Showtime for this Clipper team, Blake Griffin. Mykell Matthew here, my guy Beav, LA journalist Eric Lambkins. So Blake Griffin being the first jersey retired. Beav, what do you say? Should it be Blake Griffin?
I've been said that, bro.
Okay.
I said that on air, off air, Twitter, IG, shit, Facebook,
Snapchat.
MySpace, even Black People Meet. Shit, it's gonna be Blake Griffin, and people can argue this all the time after probably Bad Mike could do, of course, but Blake Griffin deserves it. He literally put the Clippers on the map. Now, Elton Brand and the boys, they started the fire. They got the wood together. But who set it on fire was Blake Griffin, literally.
So that's completely disregarding what Q Rich and Darius Miles did.
But you're not retiring.
Not disregarding. Like their jersey retirements can definitely come at a later time. But who literally set the city on fire and set the world on blaze was Blake Griffin.
So my guy Elam has a different take. Because I'm with you. I think it should be Blake Griffin. I believe that he was the fire to the wood that Elton Brand and those guys set in place.
But Chris Paul was the man with the match. Blake Griffin doesn't go on fire without Chris Paul. Your first jersey has to be a Hall of Fame caliber player, because anything less than that, you kind of setting the standard. You have an okay career, a mediocre career. You just have like a few good years. We'll put your jersey in the rafters. And I think that's setting a bad precedence for the organization that hasn't had a ton of success, especially going into the Intuit Dome. You want that place to feel like hallowed ground. And what better way to acknowledge, the success to Lob City than to honor Chris Paul?
But Blake was the guy, like when All-Star weekend was in L.A., he was the face of it.
We're not.
He wasn't he Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
He was Rookie of the Year before Chris Paul was there. He was the marquee name. Chris Paul, of course, had the Hall of Fame career with the Hornets. He added on to it with the Clippers and then the Rockets and things like that, OKC. But Blake Griffin, when I think of Clippers and why they have any fans in L.A., the same place as Lakers, is because of Blake Griffin, the big-time dunks, the numbers he was able to accumulate. I believe that's the guy.
And then you have to look at it like this too, right? We're not saying Chris Paul's not going to be up there, right? He could be number 2. Yeah. But I'm going to put the person I drafted, my Rookie of the Year, first overall pick, the person that set the Clippers on fire. I had DeAndre Jordan that necessarily also have on my team. But this is my first overall pick. Yeah. This is a person that, every time you looked up, even though CP3 got there, they was doing more commercials with Blake Griffin, right? CP3 definitely was a magician behind the acts, but, the whole act was Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
But see, I just beg to differ because, what is the Clippers' identity? I think
that's the big question.
I think the seminal moment in Clipper history was when Donald Sterling got caught, saying what he was saying. Yep. It was Chris Paul that said, "No, we gonna play." Yeah. To me, I think that's the telltale sign of a leader.
I'm not saying he was the leader of the team, not taking that against him, right? But when you look at Lob City, who was jumping in the air?
DJ and Blake.
Doc, we talked about it last week. Doc said DJ. Which I
and before CP3 got there, wasn't Blake yamming on people already?
Yeah, he already set precedent.
He already set the standard. He set the standard for what the excitement was coming. Yeah. And then Chris Paul is like, let's do this, right? I know a lot of people out there love to eat, right? Let's do this. My dish for the night is salmon. I can eat salmon in any type of ways I want to, right? Yeah. But you know what Chris Paul was? He was the honey and the glaze that was added to it. It gave it to he was a salmon. He gave it the whole seasoning. He gave it he could be all that, but he made it taste good.
But, so that's a discussion that we're gonna be having for days to come because we want to know what the Clippers are going to do. What do you guys think, Clipper Nation? Who should be the first Clipper player with his jersey retired? What's the standard? How you going to do it? We need to know. But we got to talk about this because we saw it on ESPN. They had an article, the archetype. Paul George, number 13. He's a guy that when you hear a lot of young players, Carmelo Anthony's son, Kyan said, that's my GOAT. Yeah. And you hear a lot of people say, that's my GOAT. LeBron has his podcast, Mind of the Game, and they talked about Bag. I think Mr. Bag is Paul George. Everybody leans on this guy has a bag. He has everything. Why do you think this young generation has this super love when it comes to Paul George?
Because I think his game is so effortless. I think there isn't anything that he can't do. He can finish at the rim. He has a mid-range. He could play with his back to the basket, which is a dying art in the league. And he could create for himself and others, and he could shoot the three. So when you look at the totality of his game, there isn't anything that PG can't do. I think that just resonates, because he has a pretty sick handle.
Yeah. Nice finishes.
Not just nice finishes. Yeah. I think a lot of the generation now, the IG generation, is looking at how you create. Yep. I think when you look at PG, he checks a lot of boxes.
We can always touch his offensive game. Yeah. I would look more of his defensive game. Okay. Being the type of defender he is, two-way guy. You don't have too many two-way guys who can drop 30, but then also lock down 30-point defender at the same breath. PG back in his Indiana days, he was very fearless to going in the air. He was, necessarily next to Danny Granger and stuff like that. Yep. But if you look at it, I always keep saying this crossover, right? It's his infamous crossover when he want to size you up, right? It's the tween, step back to the side or step back to the left. He also does behind the back. And before PG got hurt, PG was the type when he does that tween, he was coming straight at you. And you can't, you know what I'm saying? And I always say this, you can look at James Harden tween and skip backs and all this type of stuff. When you look at PG, he just sets you up. He lets you set yourself up. Yeah. So he's looking at you, he's diagnosing the whole thing like a doctor, and he just slowly dissects it apart. And when he gets where he wants to go, it's over with.
Yeah, and I think that with Paul George, he's that guy. Like you have Kawhi Leonard, who has more, has the accolades, the championships, things like that. His game is simple. It's like, I'm going to get to my spot, I'm going to pull up, I'm going to do the things. But like you said, it's IG generation, Twitter generation. You want to look good doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think that he is one of those guys, like Kyrie Irving, that does things so great. Because that's where, who do you like, Steph, or do you like Kyrie? It's a lot of people like, I love Kyrie, the handles, the different finishes. I think Paul George gives you that. Plus, he's a 6'8", athletic guy, and that's like, I think is the average build that they want for a wing player. But hey, we can talk about this all day. That's what we do here at Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. So much love to my guy Eric Lambkins tapping in with us. Elam, what can they follow you at?
Yo, you can follow me on X at elam2 and on IG at elam5 QUARED.
Yep, so follow his work. You know, me and B, we're going to continue to do our thing. We're back at Crypto next week. And,
man. Take me back to the road, please.
So we're going to see what the Clippers do the rest of this road trip. But we thank you guys so much for tapping in. We catch you next week. Go Clippers!
Let's go!
Yo.